Sit back and enjoy an hour of fascinating facts you didn't know. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's get started. In November of 2024, the Al Jaf Desert in Saudi Arabia was covered in snow and hail, creating an unusual landscape where the sand appeared glazed. Although there is no official name for this phenomenon, some informally called it a Martian storm due to its surreal appearance. The mixture of snow and sand is uncommon but possible in desert regions with extreme climate variations. This is a feather duster parakeet, a bird with a mutation that alters the growth of its feathers. It is not a distinct species, but a genetic condition. The feathers grow curly and uncontrolled, preventing it from flying. They are often rejected by their parents at birth. They are prone to infections and other health problems. They require special care to survive. Without attention, their life expectancy is very limited. The eyes of reindeer change color with the seasons, golden in summer and blue in winter. Like other mammals, reindeer reflect most of the light through the retina during the summers, and that is why they look golden. In winter, a kind of augmented night vision intervenes, in which a layer of tissue behind the retina becomes less reflective and looks blue. This change is vital to help them survive in intense Arctic conditions. The crab-eating macaque is a species that inhabits Southeast Asia and is known for its swimming ability. Its diet includes fruits, insects, and freshwater crabs, which it forages for in mangroves during low tide. These primates adapt well to aquatic environments. The Dubai Aquarium is located inside the Dubai Mall and houses more than 33,000 aquatic animals. It has more than 140 marine species, including fish, rays, and sharks. It stands out for having the world's largest collection of sand tiger sharks on display. These sharks are part of the educational and diving experiences the aquarium offers. The aquarium is one of Dubai's most visited attractions. Starfish have the ability to regenerate lost limbs. If a starfish loses an arm due to a predator or another accident, it can regrow the lost arm. These are anhydrous agates, stones with water trapped inside them for millions of years. They form in cavities of volcanic rocks where silica crystallizes. The water is sealed inside during the geological process. Sometimes it is observed when the stone is moved, like a liquid bubble. In some cases, a geode has been broken open, and its water drunk. Although possible, it is not guaranteed to be safe or pure. The age of the water cannot always be verified with certainty. Sweat is produced by sweat glands located in the dermis, mainly of the eccrine and apocrine types. Eccrine glands are distributed over almost all skin and release clear sweat that helps cool the body. This process is activated when body temperature rises and allows for thermoregulation through evaporation. Under the microscope, sweat can be seen coming out of the skin's pores. What you are observing is an optical illusion known as the parallax effect in airplanes. This phenomenon occurs when an airplane appears to be motionless in the air, even though it is actually moving forward. This effect occurs when the plane is moving at a low speed while the observer is also moving. Despite appearing to be a mere simulation, it is a real phenomenon. There are mobile gyms for dogs that offer exercise sessions in adapted vehicles. These spaces help channel the energy of hyperactive dogs or those with destructive behaviors. Although they are not clinical therapies, they do contribute to physical and emotional well-being. One of the known services is Rough Run, which is active in the United States. Filmed in Liaoning, China, this phenomenon shows ice formations in the Bohai Sea near the city of Dalian. In winter, low temperatures can partially freeze the sea surface. The resulting landscape has been informally called an ice sea by some media outlets. Meet the cutest sheep in the world. They are known as the Valais black-nosed sheep and have very soft white wool with a black face. In addition, they are very docile. Unlike other species, they get along very well with humans, which is why they are in high demand, not only for their wool, but also as companion animals. Meet Denis Vashurin, the Russian man who lives in a child's body, as he appears to be 13 years old, but is actually 37. This is due to a genetic malfunction that literally froze him in time. Despite this, Denis works at a resource supply company and tries to carry out his daily activities normally. In general, his life is like that of any other adult, with the exception of some awkward moments that others cause him. This is a sea slug of the genus Elysia, native to Japan, that can regenerate its entire body from its head. When it suffers from infections by marine parasites, especially copepods, it abandons the affected body after destroying neck tissues. The head remains active, feeding on algae and taking advantage of chloroplasts to perform temporary photosynthesis. In young specimens, The body regenerates completely in about 3 weeks. It is one of the most extreme regeneration mechanisms in animals. Bluetooth technology is named in honor of Harald Bluetooth, a Viking king of Denmark in the year 940, who united the tribes of Denmark and Norway. Bluetooth technology is responsible for uniting electronic devices from different manufacturers and allowing wireless communication between them. This man has had his right arm raised for more than 50 years, even while sleeping. His name is Amar Bharati, and he is an Indian religious man who decided to leave his wife and children and abandon all his material possessions to live as a beggar. But not satisfied with that, he decided to raise his arm towards the sky to show his devotion. At first it began to hurt him intensely, but after a while, his muscles and joints atrophied so much that the arm became immobile and completely useless. These are the movements of 2 babies in the womb at 33 weeks of pregnancy. At this stage, they already have sleep cycles and show brain activities similar to REM sleep. They can also hear nearby voices, especially their mothers. They are able to perceive intense light through the skin and the uterus. The typical range of birth is between 37 and 40 weeks. Before that, it is considered a premature birth. Sensory development is very advanced at this stage of pregnancy. Chocolate can be deadly for dogs. Chocolate contains theobromine, a substance that dogs cannot metabolize correctly. Even in small amounts, theobromine can cause heart problems, muscle tremors, and severe poisoning. Therefore, although we love chocolate, it is dangerous for our pets. This is the cheapest hotel in the world. It is called the Faridpur Hotel and is located in Bangladesh, east of India. Spending the night there costs only about 33 cents of a dollar. Although at that price you can't expect many amenities. You won't find individual rooms, but many bunk beds to share with other guests. And although it has water, the bathrooms leave a lot to be desired. At least you will have a closet all to yourself. We blink more than 5 million times a year. On average, we blink about 15 times per minute, which is equivalent to once every 4 seconds. And if we stay awake for about 16 hours, that would be 14,400 blinks a day, which would average more than 5 million blinks a year. Coco was a gorilla trained by Dr. Francine Patterson in a project linked to Stanford University. She learned more than 1,000 signs based on American Sign Language. She is credited with understanding about 2,000 English words. Her case generated debate among scientists about whether she truly understood language. Some believe that her responses were coherent and spontaneous. Others think that she only imitated gestures because the researchers rewarded her when she did so. What you see here is not a setup. It is the Australian motocross pilot Robbie Madison surfing waves on his dirt bike. The wheels of the bike are attached to special skis that allow it to ride on water. This is Maho Beach on the Caribbean island of St. Martin, located on the Dutch side known as Sint Maarten. The northern side of the island belongs to France. Maho Beach is famous for being next to the Princess Juliana Airport runway. Airplanes pass at a very low altitude over bathers during landing. Next to the beach, the Sunset Bar broadcasts communications between pilots and the control tower through a loudspeaker. It is one of the most unique destinations for observing commercial aviation. Zebras were never domesticated. Although they seem similar to horses, zebras are much more aggressive and have a difficult temperament. They have resisted all attempts at domestication throughout history, which makes them unique among equids. This is how terrestrial or intertidal clams move. They use a muscular structure called a foot to propel themselves over wet sand or mud. This foot is elongated and in some species has a reddish color similar to a tongue. Although they do not walk like animals with legs, they can move slowly to bury themselves or change location. It is a useful adaptation to avoid predators or desiccation. There are people who make a living as pet food tasters. The job of the taster, like that of wine and other product tasters, is to prepare detailed reports describing the aroma and flavor of each food. We can rest assured, the food for our pets has the approval of a human palate. In Singapore, it is illegal to import and sell chewing gum. Authorities force tourists to declare the amount of gum they are carrying and confiscate it if it is considered excessive. The ban on its sale and import has been in force since 1992 and was due to the behavior of vandals who stuck chewing gum on doors and walls, which harmed the operation of subways, trains, and elevators. However, since 2004 there is a section for therapeutic gums, which can be purchased from a registered doctor or pharmacist. Probably filmed in London, England. This is an advertisement for the BBC series Dracula, which premiered in 2020. The campaign was created by BBC Creative and was installed in cities like London and Birmingham. During the day, the billboard showed stakes driven into a white surface. At nightfall, the lighting projected the silhouette of Count Dracula. This is the geoduck clam, also known as the elephant trunk clam, due to its long siphon. Its shell measures between 15 and 20 centimeters long, but the mollusk can descend up to 1 meter. It is a species that only lives on the coasts of the northwestern United States and Canada. Its specimens are among the longest lived in the world, and when they are adults, they have almost no predators, except for humans. Angel Alvarado has the new Guinness record for juggling and solving 3 Rubik's Cubes at the same time. Watch him in slow motion. His skill is incredible. This is the art of rice throwing. This is a fleeting art form. First, mandalas are made with rice. For the drawing to take a horizontal position in the air, the board must be leveraged when the rice is thrown. Although it is often said that the elephant has 4 knees, this statement is incorrect. Like all quadrupeds, it has 2 knees in its hind legs. The front legs, on the other hand, have joints equivalent to elbows. The Japanese master Isao Machi has been filmed cutting a baseball with a katana. The ball travels at about 160 kilometers per hour from a batting machine. Machi is located just over 9 meters from the machine. Before the cut, he lets 2 pitches pass to calculate the height and trajectory. These immense potatoes weigh approximately 5.6 kilograms, a very uncommon size. Specimens like this have been grown in countries like New Zealand and the United Kingdom. Achieving that weight requires more than just fertilizers. Factors such as the potato variety, soil type, climate, and agronomic management are key. The use of nutrients like nitrogen and potassium can help but does not guarantee extreme results. This is how flies take flight. They use their middle legs to propel themselves. Charles Darwin had the strange habit of eating some of the animal species he discovered. Throughout his career as a naturalist, he came to eat owl meat, turtle, armadillo, capybara, and even puma. This behavior arose in his youth when he was part of a club called the Gluttons, in which members were dedicated to eating birds and beasts unknown to the human palate. The ancient Egyptians slept on pillows made of stone. The comfort of the first pillows was notably absent since they were made of stone. The reason this type of material was used was that the main function of the pillows was to prevent insects from entering the mouth and ears while you slept. In this video, we can see how the white color absorbs less energy and heat than the others. Even when there is another balloon inside, it bursts while the white one does not. It is forbidden to die inside the British Parliament. You cannot die while you are in this place. This strange law exists because the site has statues of the royal family palace, and any person who dies in the place must be buried with state honors, something quite expensive to do with just any person. So if you visit one day, it is better to postpone your death until you are outside the palace. When a jet plane exceeds the speed of sound, a visual phenomenon known as a vapor cone occurs. This phenomenon is linked to the formation of shock waves that the plane generates when flying at supersonic speeds. These waves are the result of the plane traveling faster than sound, which causes the sound waves to accumulate and form a cone-shaped shock wave, whose amplitude varies depending on the speed of the aircraft. This giant onion weighs around 4.5 kilograms, a very uncommon size. Specimens like this are usually grown for agricultural competitions, especially in countries like the United Kingdom. Specialized horticulturists use precise techniques to achieve these sizes. Under normal conditions, a commercial onion weighs between 100 and 500 grams. For this reason, an onion weighing several kilograms is considered exceptional. Long-distance couples can now experience the sensation of kissing with this latest invention. It consists of a pair of silicone lips that, when connected to your smartphone, replicate and send the movements of your lips to another device. You probably didn't know it, but the bones in your forearm twist every time you turn your wrist. This is thanks to the movement of the radial head and the humerus. Bismuth is a chemical element on the periodic table whose peculiarity is the formation of precious crystals on its own. When a piece of this metal is heated to the melting point, at a temperature of 271 degrees Celsius, it becomes liquid, and as it solidifies, it begins to take the shape of almost perfect geometric figures. In ancient Greece, the custom of throwing an apple was considered sacred and linked to Aphrodite. It was normally thrown to a woman in order to propose marriage, and if she caught it, she gave her consent to start the relationship. The Voyager 1 space probe, launched by NASA in 1977, is the spacecraft farthest from Earth. In August of 2012, it became the first man-made object to enter interstellar space. The main purpose of the mission was to explore the giant planets Jupiter and Saturn, from which it transmitted detailed images to Earth. Snakes also shed their eyelids. In reality, they do not have eyelids as such, but rather ocular scales that protect their eyes. Have you ever wondered how a porcupine mother gives birth to her babies with so many quills? The reality is that at birth and during the first days of life, the quills of the young are very thin. They look like hairs. As they grow, they harden. In the year 2021, a sheep named Barak was found in a forest in Victoria, Australia, with a fleece weighing more than 35 kilograms. The discovery occurred near Melbourne and was documented by the Edgar's Mission Farm Sanctuary. It is presumed that Barak escaped from a farm and lived for several years without being shorn. For this reason, it is considered a feral sheep, that is, an animal that was domestic and became wild. The weight of the fleece attracted international attention. Barak was cared for and recovered by the sanctuary. Tang Xiuquan is the man who can deform his face the most in the world. His face can change shape astonishingly. This is his normal face, and these are some of the faces he makes. This is a Sicarius, also called a six-eyed sand spider. It buries itself in the sand to ambush prey and protect itself from the heat. Its venom is potent, similar to that of the brown recluse spider. Although dangerous, it rarely comes into contact with humans. It inhabits arid areas of South America and Africa. It can reach up to 6 centimeters with its legs extended. There are prisons where prisoners are allowed to have pets. In the United States, there are programs that allow inmates to have a dog or cat as a pet, as long as they meet the requirements. This is done to relieve some of the tension that exists within the prison, and so that these friends are cared for by a companion they would not otherwise be able to have. They are given for adoption after a while, unless their inmate has a sentence that allows them to leave with them. This is a zoetrope adapted to a bicycle wheel. The zoetrope is a stroboscopic machine that creates the illusion of movement. It was invented in 1834 by William George Horner. It works with sequential images seen through slots in a rotating drum. It is one of the precursors of cinema. This is the oldest teddy bear in the world. It is estimated to be 2,300 years old. It was found frozen in the mountains of Siberia. It is made with felt from sheep's wool and reindeer fur. In Tabuk, northern Saudi Arabia, there have been recorded snowfalls that cover even camels, as happened in January of 2022. Although not frequent, these snowfalls occur every few years during the winter, when temperatures drop and there is sufficient humidity. In this region, winter rain can transform into snow, especially in mountainous areas. Similar phenomena have been observed in desert areas of Syria, Lebanon, Iran, and Jordan. In northern Syria, for example, it snowed in 2020, and in Lebanon in 2017. This is a multi-level aquarium, designed so that the water rises above the base level through negative pressure. A pump is used to extract air from the upper container, creating a vacuum and pulling the water up. The system requires an airtight seal to function correctly. It is an uncommon structure in home aquariums. The image of carp following a duck comes from real videos recorded in ponds where koi fish are fed. The first carp approached the duck looking for food, and the rest follow due to group instinct, a common behavior in gregarious fish. It is not a rare phenomenon, although it is visually striking. There have also been recordings of black swans surrounded by fish while they soak bread in the water. In places like Swan Lake Resort in Taiwan, the fish swarm to snatch pieces of food from them. This could be considered the microwave of refrigerators due to its speed. This is Chillit, a machine that cools drinks in less than 30 seconds. The system uses controlled thermal transfer without chemicals or gases. It is a notable innovation in instant refrigeration. This is gunpowder art by the American artist Danny Shervin. More than painting, it is a combustion engraving technique. The design is formed with gunpowder on canvas or wood and then carefully ignited. The combustion burns the surface material and leaves permanent marks. The result depends on the control of the fire and the precision of the outline. In Singapore, there is a dining experience called cable car sky dining, where one dines in a cable car cabin that travels the route between Mount Faber and Sentosa. The journey lasts about 1 hour and offers panoramic views of the city. The menu varies according to the chosen package, with prices between $60 and $90. The experience includes dishes served in several courses as the cabin moves. It is not a traditional restaurant but a private experience in motion. The Lena Pillars, located in Yakutia, Russia, are natural rock formations that reach up to 100 meters in height. They are composed of limestone and schist and were formed more than 500 million years ago. Their current appearance is the result of fluvial erosion, freezing, thawing, and extreme temperature variations. Water filters into the cracks, freezes, and expands, widening the spaces between the rocks. This process has isolated the pillars from each other over time. They are considered natural heritage for their geological and scenic value. This is how stop motion was done in the movie Kubo and the Two Strings, directed by Travis Knight. Each scene required manually moving the figures frame by frame, which took days or weeks. The process is so slow that animators change clothes between takes, as seen in behind-the-scenes videos. The film combined traditional techniques with 3D printing and digital retouching. It was produced by the Leica Studio, which specializes in artisanal animation. Filmed in Mandalay, Myanmar. This is a human claw machine. The ticket to participate is 5,000 kyats, which is equivalent to $3, and you are allowed to grab all the bags of treats you can hold with your legs and arms. This is a speeder bike inspired by the Star Wars saga, adapted from a real motorcycle. Instead of levitating, the wheels are hidden with rectangular mirrors to simulate flotation. The visual effect seeks to imitate the jet bikes seen in the movies. It is a display of creativity applied to thematic design. The Giuseppe Meazza Stadium, also known as San Siro, is located in Milan, Italy, and is the home of the AC Milan and Inter Milan teams. It was designed in 1925 by the architect Ulisse Stacchini and the engineer Alberto Cugini. Its structure includes helical ramps and cylindrical towers that give it a visual appearance similar to shock absorbers. These ramps function as external stairs to access the upper stands. This is a diorama made with modeling clay around a toilet paper roll. The cardboard tube serves as a structural base for building scenes or characters. This type of craft is common in recycled art projects and school activities. Details can be added with paper, fabric, or paint. The modeling clay allows for modeling shapes with precision and color. The Alaska Railroad. Gold Star Service is a tourist experience in the United States that offers glass-domed cars and open-air platforms. The route between Anchorage and Seward passes through landscapes of mountains, forests, and lakes. The cars include a dining area, a tour guide, and beverages during the journey. The service operates during the summer season and is popular among visitors for its comfort and views. The price per person is around $260. It is one of the most scenic railway routes in the country. Filmed in British Columbia, Canada, this video shows two cyclists riding a mountain trail. The region is known for its scenic trails and terrains ideal for adventure cycling. Places like Whistler and Myra Canyon attract athletes from all over the world. British Columbia offers varied landscapes, from forests to rocky peaks. Mountain biking is a popular practice in its natural parks. Ice football is not an official sport in Germany, but it is practiced as a recreational activity on frozen rinks. In some informal events, teams such as Lok and HSV participate, with 6 players per side. The ball used is smaller and heavier than a traditional soccer ball, adapted to slide on ice. Players wear helmets, elbow pads, shin guards, and shoulder pads to protect themselves during the game. Protections for the buttocks and hips are also used due to frequent falls on their backs. The dynamic combines elements of fast-paced soccer and hockey. This is an old bicycle trapped by a tree trunk. It happens when a young tree grows around a fixed object. Over the years, the trunk partially envelops it. The scene reflects decades of silent growth. This is a Buddha head among the roots of a Bodhi tree in Wat Mahathat Temple, Ayutthaya, Thailand. It most likely was abandoned and the tree grew around it over time. Today, it is one of the most photographed icons of the site. In November of the year 2020, a peat landslide was recorded in Meanbog, County Donegal, Ireland. The terrain, composed of vegetation and soft soil, moved downhill, dragging trees and part of the landscape. Although the phenomenon looks like a floating island, it is not a real islet or a mass that floats on water. The vegetation, especially the roots of the trees, may have helped to maintain the cohesion of the land. This is most likely the blue crystal cave of the Vatnajökull Glacier in Iceland. These caves are formed by the seasonal melting of the ice and change every year. Access varies depending on the conditions of the glacier, which is in constant transformation. In summer, some caves are flooded or collapse due to the increase in temperature. For safety, they are only explored in winter, between November and March. Vatnajökull is the largest glacier in Europe. Filmed in Las Vegas, United States, this pool table uses an interactive digital system. It consists of a projector mounted on the ceiling that illuminates the surface with visual effects. It is connected to an overhead camera that tracks the movement of the balls in real time. This type of system combines dynamic projection with artificial vision tracking. The result is a visually appealing experience. Filmed in time-lapse, this video shows frozen Lake Michigan in the United States. It shows the exact moment when a large section of ice breaks and separates from the rest. This phenomenon occurs due to changes in temperature, wind, or internal currents. Filmed near Socorro Island in Colima, Mexico, this video shows a rare deep-sea jellyfish. It was recorded in 2018 by the Nautilus expedition at more than 4,000 meters of depth. The discovery was made with the Hercules submarine in Mexican Pacific waters. The jellyfish belongs to the Halicreatidae family, which is considered uncommon. This is a Sarama rooster, originally from Kelantan, Malaysia. It is distinguished by its upright posture, inflated chest, and low wings. It is the smallest breed of chicken in the world, with specimens weighing less than 500 grams. It was developed in the 1970s and formalized in the 1990s. Although recent, it derives from older miniature lineages. Its compact appearance makes it popular in exhibitions. It is one of the most unique domestic birds for its size and stance. The game Jenga was created by Leslie Scott, a British designer, and commercially released in the 1980s. There are giant versions known as Jenga Giant. Filmed in Kejimkujik National Park in Nova Scotia, Canada, this is an American woodcock. This family of woodcocks dances or remains static as a method of deterring predators. The adults can measure up to 30 centimeters and like to eat earthworms. They are native to Canada, the United States, and Mexico. Roosters have a natural aggressiveness, especially among males, as part of their territorial behavior. This behavior can appear from a young age and is more intense in breeds selected for combat. However, the environment also influences this behavior. In confined or overpopulated spaces, roosters become more aggressive when competing for territory and resources. Aggressiveness is innate, but the environment can aggravate it. This looks like a Toyota Land Cruiser rolling on ice, but it is actually a scale vehicle. It is a remote-controlled model that imitates the design of the original off-road vehicle in great detail. The Land Cruiser was produced in the 1980s and 90s and is known for its durability. RC replicas are usually manufactured at a 1:12 scale and may include functional suspension and traction. Pigeons are not adapted for swimming or floating, so they rarely move in the water. If they fall in, they usually try to get out quickly by flapping their wings. This movement may look like a displacement on the surface, but it is not a habitual strategy. Unlike waterfowl, pigeons do not use their feet to propel themselves in the water. Most likely they react instinctively to escape. These are the artificial trees of the gardens by the bay in Singapore, known as super trees. They are 18 structures that measure between 25 and 50 meters in height. 11 of them have solar panels that generate electricity for the park. Some function as ventilation ducts for nearby greenhouses. They also collect rainwater for irrigation. They are covered by plants and vines that form vertical gardens. Filmed in Texas, United States, this video shows the Midland Police destroying illegal fireworks. There were about 9,000 kilograms confiscated by court order. The detonation was carried out during the day for safety reasons. It was not intended as a public spectacle. The process lasted several days and was supervised by explosives experts. This is the Giant's Causeway in Antrim, Northern Ireland. It is formed by about 40,000 basalt columns. They originated about 60 million years ago when a lava flow cooled. The rock fractures due to thermal contraction into hexagonal shapes. This phenomenon is called columnar jointing. There are also basalt columns in Mexico, Iceland, Scotland, Japan, Chile, and other countries. It is one of the most unique geological landscapes in the world. This is Mount Fuji in Japan, famous for generating lenticular clouds over its summit. These clouds have a saucer shape and can appear in superimposed layers. They form when stable moist air currents flow over the mountain. This is a kinball match between Spain, Japan, and Switzerland. The sport was created in Canada in 1986. 3 teams with 4 players are on the field. It is played on a 20 by 20 meter court with a ball 1 meter and 22 centimeters in diameter. The attacking team throws the ball by naming the opponent who must catch it before it touches the ground. If they fail, the other 2 teams score 1 point. Canada, Japan, France, and Switzerland are powers in this sport. This is an animation of ancient Egypt that shows the Great Pyramid of Giza. It was originally covered with polished white limestone. This coating gave it a shiny appearance in the sun. Its construction is estimated to have taken about 20 years. Some believe that it had a golden pyramidion at the top, but there is no conclusive evidence. Filmed in Argentina, the phenomenon shows what appears to be a cut sky, possibly caused by a lenticular cloud or a roll cloud. Lenticular clouds have a saucer shape and are formed by air currents in mountainous areas. Roll clouds are horizontal and rotate on their axis, creating a visually striking effect. The cut in the sky could be the edge of the cloud, which is thinner and illuminated by the sun. This side lighting highlights the contrast with the background. The third thumb is a robotic prosthesis created by New Zealand designer Danny Clode. It is placed on the hand on the opposite side of the natural thumb and functions as a second thumb. The device is controlled by pressure sensors located in the big toes. These sensors send signals via Bluetooth that activate the robotic thumb's motors. The project was developed in collaboration with the Plasticity Lab at University College London. Studies have shown that the brain can adapt to controlling this additional digit. This bird chick, filmed in Colombia, belongs to the ashy-throated antwern species. Its plumage and movements imitate a venomous caterpillar. This camouflage is an example of Batesian mimicry. Harmless animals adopt the appearance of toxic ones to avoid predators. The phenomenon was documented by researcher Gustavo Londoño. It is one of the most unique cases of defense in neotropical birds. The German airship Hindenburg flew over New York on May 6, 1937. It was part of its transatlantic route from Frankfurt to the United States. Hours later, it caught fire during landing in Lakehurst, New Jersey. The images of the disaster marked a critical point in the history of aviation. The Hindenburg was the largest airship ever built. Its crash put an end to the commercial use of hydrogen-filled airships. This heart-shaped lake is in Ontario, Canada, and is called Heart Lake. Its silhouette is best seen from the air, especially in autumn. Although it is not a common shape, there are other similar cases. The Heart of Vaux mangrove in New Caledonia and Tupai Island in French Polynesia stand out. Makepeace Island in Australia is also mentioned, with a similar shape. These formations usually depend on the angle from which they are observed. This is the Stupid Taller bicycle, built by Richie Trimble in Los Angeles, United States. It measures 6.15 meters to the seat and holds the Guinness World Record for the tallest in the world. Its structure is vertical and requires a ladder to be mounted. To descend, it must lean against a wall or post. Due to its size, it needs escorts to circulate safely at urban events. It has difficulty stopping with precision, which poses a risk. It was designed as a technical and artistic feat, not for everyday use. This is the Cuban Felix Guerola, known for building high-rise bicycles in Havana. One of his creations measures 6 meters and is built on a conventional bicycle. These are edible water drops called uho, created by Skipping Rocks Lab in London. They are made with sodium alginate and calcium chloride, forming a gelatinous membrane. The process is based on spherification, a technique of molecular gastronomy. Solutions of both compounds are mixed, and the water is encapsulated in a spherical shape. It can contain liquids like water or drinks. This carrot could measure nearly 1 meter long, although it is not typical. Specimens of this size have been grown in agricultural competitions. In 2016, Joe Atherton achieved a carrot of more than 6 meters in the United Kingdom. Carrots of more than 1 meter have also been recorded in Lebanon. The Indian giant squirrel, also called the Malabar giant squirrel, is a species endemic to the tropical forests of India. It mainly inhabits the western and eastern Ghats. Adults can exceed 1 meter in length, including the tail, and reach up to 3 kilograms in weight. Its fur is remarkably colorful. This variation depends on the subspecies and the environment. It is an arboreal and solitary species, difficult to observe in the wild. This video shows the rotation of the Earth with the Milky Way as the apparent fixed point. It is achieved by using an equatorial mount that compensates for the Earth's movement. In this way, the sky remains static while the landscape rotates. It is a common technique in astrophotography. This sport is called rugball and was created in Russia in the 1990s. It combines basketball, Greco-Roman wrestling, and rugby on a court with hoops. It is played with 6 players per team on the field. The objective is to score while holding the opponent is allowed, but without hitting. Rugball is also practiced in Moldova, Estonia, Belarus, the Czech Republic, the Netherlands, and France. It is an intense contact sport with specific rules. This is the Shaolin monk Shi Liliang running on a row of 125 meters of floating planks. The technique consists of touching each plank for less than 1 second to prevent it from sinking. The planks are thin and cannot support prolonged weight. Shi Liliang trained for years with iron weights on his feet and back. He also ran 5 kilometers with a metal plate as part of his routine. This video filmed in Vancouver, Canada. shows a rock eroded by water over different periods, 15, 25, and 50 years. Water erosion depends on the type of rock and the constant flow. This old man built an interesting bridge over a stream without using a single nail. Mu, an artisan from China, was able to build this amazing bridge using ancient wood joining techniques. Despite the fact that this completely handmade bridge does not have any nails, it is quite resistant. The tallest man in history was 2.72 meters tall. Robert Wadlow, born in 1918 in Illinois, United States, is the tallest human being ever recorded. His incredible height was due to a condition called gigantism, caused by an excessive production of growth hormone. Despite his size, Wadlow lived for only 22 years, passing away in 1940. This is what the giant tortoises of the Galapagos Islands are like. These reptiles are among the longest-lived of all terrestrial vertebrates, with an average of more than 100 years. They are the largest tortoises in the world. Some specimens exceed 1.5 meters in length and reach 250 kilograms in weight. Cliff Young was an Australian farmer who, at 61 years old, became famous for his incredible feat of challenging young elite runners in a Westfield ultramarathon from Sydney to Melbourne in 1983. That race took 7 days to complete, but despite Young starting in last place, he finished the race in 5 straight days without barely sleeping. He surpassed the favorites, won the race, and set a world record. After this feat, it was discovered that Young, as a farmer, used to run while herding sheep for 2 to 3 days straight, which gave him unique endurance. Would you dare to sleep in a transparent capsule that hangs more than 400 meters from the ground? That's exactly what you can experience on a cliff, in the sacred valley of the Incas, in Peru. To access them, you will have to travel an extreme path with a network of zip lines or climb the 400 meters to the capsules, but the effort is totally worth it. The views are incredible and the experiences are unique. Inside the capsules, you will have 4 beds, a dining room, and a private bathroom available. The General Sherman tree, a giant sequoia in Sequoia National Park in California, is considered the largest tree in the world by volume. Its name honors General William Tecumseh Sherman, a prominent American military leader during the Civil War. It has a volume of around 1,485 cubic meters and a height of approximately 83 meters. The eruption of the Krakatoa volcano in 1883 was one of the most powerful recorded in history and generated a tsunami that caused waves of up to 40 meters high. Located in the Sunda Strait, between the islands of Java and Sumatra in Indonesia, it caused the death of more than 40,000 people, and the force of the explosion is compared to the Hiroshima bombs. Viewed from Earth, the Andromeda Galaxy is 6 times larger than the Moon, but unfortunately we cannot see it at night since its light is very faint compared to that of our natural satellite. This is Bobby Leach, the second person to survive the fall of Niagara Falls. He accomplished this feat in 1911. He got inside a large metal barrel, went through the falls, and lived to tell the tale. But he did not come out unscathed. He had to spend more than 6 months in the hospital recovering from the injuries he suffered during the fall. The most curious thing about this is that 15 years later he injured his leg by slipping on an orange peel, which caused an infection from which he died after a few months. The fairy pools in Scotland. Located on the Isle of Skye, the fairy pools are famous for their crystal-clear water and enchanting waterfalls. These natural pools attract visitors who dare to swim in their cold waters and enjoy the stunning views of the Cuillin Mountains that surround them. The Stone Wall in Croatia. This lesser-known but impressive wall is often called the Small Wall of China. Built in the 14th century to protect the city of Ston, the wall is approximately 5 kilometers long and is one of the longest stone structures in Europe, offering spectacular views of the surrounding landscape. This stunning and beautiful tree of the species Schefflera actinophylla is found in Italy and belongs to the Araliaceae family. It is also known as the octopus tree or umbrella tree. In Jupiter and Saturn, it rains diamonds. It is estimated that around 10 tons fall per year. Dolphins are able to recognize themselves in a mirror. They are one of the few animal species that have demonstrated the ability to recognize themselves in a mirror, which suggests a high level of self-awareness. This behavior is indicative of advanced cognitive abilities in dolphins. Fish rain is a real phenomenon, although it sounds like a myth. Fish rain occurs in some parts of the world, and it is believed that the fish are sucked up by strong winds from nearby bodies of water and then deposited on land during storms or tornadoes. These cat scratchers are decorated with some of the most famous paintings in humanity and include a base for your cat to comfortably destroy them. This is the most accurate flat map of the world ever created. Due to its measurements, it is the closest thing to a globe. It was made by scientists from Princeton University in the United States. It has two sides and is round. In addition, it has smaller distance errors than any single-sided flat map. According to a study that was conducted in 1995, ballet dancers have a higher pain tolerance level than the general average of people. This is because they are constantly exposed to pain. In 2019, the only albino panda bear in the world was sighted. It was seen in the Wolong Natural Reserve in China, and it was a male who, unlike other specimens of his species, did not have the characteristic black spots, and his eyes were red. This is a clear indication that he suffers from albinism, a genetic disorder that causes his body not to produce melanin and to take on that appearance. The eyes of birds of prey have exceptionally sharp vision. Birds of prey like falcons and eagles have a high density of photoreceptor cells in their retinas, which allows them to detect prey from great distances and accurately calculate the location and speed of their targets. This is the Big Pineapple in South Africa. The largest pineapple-shaped house in the world has a height of 17 meters and occupies 4 floors. It was built in the 1980s, in a place surrounded by pineapple plantations, as a tribute to the most important fruit in the region. Its interior is a kind of museum of pineapple-based products available for sale. The structure is made of metal, but the skin of the fruit is made of steel and concrete covered with fiberglass. This is the Messner Mountain Museum, a museum located on the top of the Kronplatz Mountain in Italy. This impressive structure was the idea of the mountaineer Reinhold Messner, who collaborated with the architect Zaha Hadid to build this futuristic design museum. Due to its layout, this place offers several panoramic views. Inside this building, we find an exhibition of objects related to the world of climbing. The Bahamas hide the largest underwater sculpture in the world beneath the ocean's surface, which measures 5 meters high and weighs 60 tons. The sculpture, called Ocean Atlas, represents the impacts of climate change on marine ecosystems. It was installed in 2014 and is expected to last at least 100 years to eventually become an artificial reef. During the winter, the world's deepest and oldest lake freezes over. Lake Baikal in Russia creates a landscape of crystalline ice that is ideal for ice walking. Cracks and bubbles trapped in the ice form natural patterns that make this place a unique visual wonder. United States Navy submarines are operated with Xbox controllers. These are used to control the photonic masts of these expensive submarines, since using these controllers is very easy and, in addition to saving costs, the appropriate controller for those masts would cost around $8,000, while an Xbox controller costs about $50. Three Gorges is the largest dam in the world and the most expensive work ever built. This hydroelectric plant, located on the Yangtze River in China, cost approximately $75 billion. It is 2,335 meters long and 181 meters high. Thanks to this, it can retain water at 91 meters above the river level, which is equivalent to about 42 million tons. What you see is a strange phenomenon known as a flag tree. It is not entirely known why it happens. Some hypotheses say it is due to strong winds. They are common in cold places. It is possible to boil water without it being hot. You can check this with a syringe at home. You don't need the needle, so it's not dangerous. You just need to take a little water, being careful not to fill the tube completely, because you need the empty space. Then, you must cover the tip of the syringe so that no more air or water enters. In fact, you can use your own finger for this. Now, to make the water boil, you just have to pull the plunger of the syringe. This happens due to the change in the water vapor pressure. These trees were practically logged by birds, specifically specimens of black cockatoos, a genus of birds that only lives in Australia. Because they sometimes feed on larvae that live in pine and eucalyptus trunks, they do not hesitate to use their strong beaks to destroy the trees. For this reason, in plantations they are considered a pest. However, they can also eat fruits, seeds, and nuts, so they will hardly finish off the forests. Meet James Cook, the amazing British artist who creates beautiful drawings using only a typewriter. This architecture student became interested in this strange discipline after reading about Paul Smith. The realism of his drawings is so surprising that no one would say they were made with a typewriter. James Cook holds exhibitions and even accepts drawing requests that range from $370. This is a photograph of a drop of seawater magnified 25 times. What you see are crab larvae, fish eggs, and other microorganisms. This image was taken by David Lee and was a sample of water he took from a beach in Hawaii. Now you know, Be careful about ingesting water the next time you go swimming in the sea. The red rock formations of Sedona in Arizona, United States, are famous for their red sandstone formations, which illuminate the city with a vibrant glow at sunrise and sunset. The energy of these formations also attracts those seeking spirituality, making Sedona a center for spiritual retreat and meditation. The Shanghai Tower, the second tallest skyscraper in the world, has a height of 632 meters distributed over a total of 128 floors. On the facade of the building, you can find up to 270 wind turbines, and it has 106 elevators that operate at a speed of 18 meters per second. These curious masks called aero soap do not work with plastic or glass, but with soap. The truth is that they do not protect much, but they look very fun. If you blow, you make bubbles. Observe these small birds that look like cotton balls. The long-tailed tits are abundant birds in Hokkaido, the second largest island in Japan, where they are better known as Shima and Naga. This subspecies is not only found in that country, but the ones from this place have a characteristic that makes them unique. Long-tailed tits usually have distinctive eyebrows. However, those on this island lose their eyebrows when they reach adulthood, making them look like small flying cotton balls. Trees recognize their children. If a tree of the same species grows near them, they send carbon and nutrients through the roots to help them grow healthy. They also stop the growth of their own roots so that the young ones have room to grow. This is an orange river in Russia, and although it may seem like a natural attraction, its color does not imply anything positive. It is due to an environmental disaster that occurred when waste from a copper mine ended up in the river, giving it a murky and coppery appearance. Now, in those waters, acids so powerful that they are killing the fauna that lives in the place run. In India, there are many rivers where people bathe for religious reasons. The best known is the Ganges, the most sacred river in India. Bathing in the waters of this river during certain festivities or in certain sacred places can wash away sins and bring spiritual salvation. The University of Oxford is older than the Aztec culture. Although the exact date of its creation is not known, there is evidence that the university was teaching classes in 1096. This is the construction process of a house made by robots, or rather, a house that is being three-dimensional printed. These buildings do not exceed 2 floors and require little human intervention. In addition, they are considerably more economical than a conventional house. Since they do not contain metal, they do not have corrosion problems and can be considered more sustainable. For now, if you live in a country prone to earthquakes, this technique is not recommended. The engineer from Cordoba, Edmundo Ramos, has created the garbage car, or drive on waste, as an alternative to petroleum fuel, and assures that with 15 kilos of garbage you can travel up to 100 kilometers. With his 1983 Ford Falcon Ranchera model, he shows an alternative to cleaning the planet, taking advantage of the energy from garbage, and is about to be registered worldwide. Best of all, it is not necessary to modify the car's engine. The combustion gases are completely non-polluting, and in addition, it provides 20% oxygen to the environment. The deepest hole made by man on Earth is the Kola Super Deep Borehole located in Russia. It has a depth of approximately 12,262 meters. This was carried out as a research project by the Soviet Union to reach the center of the Earth and was finished in 1992 after 9 years. This is how vein viewing technology, known as a vein viewer, works. It is a device that uses infrared light to clearly detect the veins in the body. Basically, it detects the subcutaneous map and creates a high-definition digital image of the patient's veins projected directly onto the skin surface. This allows doctors to perform procedures such as blood draws more safely and comfortably. The Mangalica, or also known as sheep pigs, are the only pigs in the world with abundant hair, very similar to wool. According to science, the easiest way to reduce body temperature is not by drinking water, but by pouring it over your head. One of the grotesques of the Washington National Cathedral, which are traditionally gargoyles and serve to drain water from the roofs, has the shape of Darth Vader, the Star Wars character. It was the result of a competition for children where they drew shapes they wanted for these sculptures when the Northwest Tower was being built. Observe the fantastic augmented reality cover of this yoga book created by the artist Alexander Ward. It is necessary to use an Instagram filter to view it with your phone. Icelandic is one of the oldest and most preserved languages in the world and has changed very little since the time of the ancient Viking settlers. Due to Iceland's relative geographic isolation and the lack of external linguistic influences, Icelandic has experienced minimal linguistic changes over the centuries. Observe the ingenious GPS for bicycles that projects directional arrows on the ground using a laser projector. This is synchronized through an application and is very useful on night rides. The Chinese giant salamander is the largest amphibian in the world, reaching a length of up to 1.8 meters. In addition, a prominent feature of this salamander is its longevity, reaching more than 50 years. This can occur on the skin of people with circulatory problems and fluid retention. The Atlantic Ocean is saltier than the Pacific Ocean due to its higher evaporation and lower precipitation. Meet the Ingenuity, the Mars helicopter, and the first to fly on another planet. It flew on Mars for 3 years and its life ended earlier this year. This helicopter crashed and its propellers broke. This is why rain clouds look gray. This is because the water droplets that form them are large and very close together, which prevents sunlight from passing through them. Rain clouds are darker the denser they are, and the more water they have. This causes the upper part of the cloud to block the sun's rays. So from the surface of the Earth, they are perceived as black or very dark clouds. If observed from a plane, they will look white because the sun is above them. The Post-it, those popular small adhesive notes, came about by accident. In 1968, Spencer Silver, a 3M scientist, was trying to create a super strong adhesive, but accidentally created one that barely stuck. Years later, his co-worker Art Fry realized that this adhesive was perfect for marking pages in a hymn book without damaging it, and that's how the Post-it was born. Goats are born knowing how to climb. Mountain goats have an incredible ability to climb almost vertical slopes from a very young age. This skill is essential for their survival, as it allows them to escape predators and find food in mountainous terrain where few animals can reach. The Great Barrier Reef is the largest coral reef system in the world. Located off the coast of Queensland, Australia, it spans more than 2,300 kilometers in length. It is home to an incredible diversity of marine life and is one of Australia's most popular tourist destinations. Tarantulas weave silk bags or sacks to protect and store their eggs. From these come hundreds of baby tarantulas. On average, a cat can have more than 40 million hairs on its entire body. Although if you have a feline pet, you have probably already noticed all the hair they leave behind. The fur serves to regulate their body temperature and protect their skin, although this is not the case for the Sphinx cat due to its total absence of fur. The largest bird in the world is the ostrich, which can reach a height of up to 2.7 meters and a weight of up to 160 kilograms. In Belgium, the Hellerbos forest transforms into a fairy tale every spring when the forest floor is covered with a carpet of bluebells. This natural phenomenon attracts visitors from all over the world who come to walk among the flowers and experience the magic of the enchanted forest. In many countries, bottled water is not necessarily healthier or purer than tap water. In some cases, bottled water comes from the same sources as tap water, but is sold at a much higher price. However, marketing and presentation have contributed to its worldwide popularity, generating a multi-billion-dollar industry. These billiards professionals demonstrate incredible precision and strategy in every shot and every movement. This is the largest Tetris in the world. Thanks to the work of 4 German students, Tetris can be played on a 15-story building on the university campus in Kiel, in northern Germany. Giraffes are the only mammals that do not emit any sound because they do not have vocal cords. To communicate, they use body movements and smell. In addition, they can communicate through sounds that cannot be perceived by human ears. The car manufacturer Subaru is also a honey producer. One of the brand's factories discovered that a group of bees had made honeycombs on the roof of its facilities. Instead of fumigating them, they decided to cultivate their honey and give small bottles to customers who took their car in for service. The island of Socotra, off the coast of Yemen, is known for its unique biodiversity and alien landscapes. It is home to hundreds of endemic species of flora and fauna, including the iconic dragon's blood tree, which looks like something out of a fantasy world with its red sap and unusual shape. The flame of candles is hollow. Between the front of the flame and the wick, there is a cloud of vaporized wax and air with too much fuel and too little oxygen to burn. Tarsiers have the largest eyes compared to the rest of their bodies. Their sight is so efficient that they can see in the dark as well as in broad daylight. Their eyes are fixed to the skull, so to see around, they can move their heads sideways almost 180 degrees. This image you see was the first photograph taken with a cell phone in history. The protagonist is Sophie, the then newborn daughter of Philip Kahn, the inventor of cameras and mobile phones. He took the photograph with a modified Motorola StarTAC. Some chainsaws have a mechanical system that retracts the disc with the slightest contact with human skin. The blade carries a small electrical signal that the security system continuously monitors. When skin comes into contact with the blade, the signal changes because the human body is an electrical conductor. This activates the security system in less than 5 milliseconds. Unlike most mammals, giraffes do not yawn. Scientists believe that this is due to their unique physical structure. Being long-necked animals, they do not need the same amount of oxygen in their brains as other animals, which makes the act of yawning unnecessary. More stories are shared on Instagram than in daily life, as it is estimated that more than 1 billion stories are posted daily on the popular platform. These are not petrified bodies or anything like that. In fact, it is a lava skylight located in Kamakuna, Hawaii. The photograph was shared by the United States Geological Survey, and all kinds of theories were quickly created about it. But they are just lava flow marks that give a very terrifying appearance. This is the Oriental short-hair cat. It is characterized by having huge pointed ears that sometimes flop down, making them look like dogs. There are places in the world where it is forbidden to die, such as in Norway. This seemingly strange rule is due to the unique conditions, as the ground is permanently frozen, which makes it impossible to bury bodies traditionally. Chewing gum is one of the oldest foods still consumed. Chewing gum that is more than 6,000 years old has been found in Finland. It was a compound of tree bark with tar, and its recipe is very similar to the one used today to make chewing gum. Not only that, but other very ancient civilizations like the Mayans and the Greeks also produced it in a very similar way. Have you ever wondered where the meteorite that wiped out the dinosaurs fell? It was on the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico, where the Chicxulub crater is, which is believed to be the impact site of the asteroid that contributed to the extinction of the dinosaurs approximately 66 million years ago. This also explains why there are so many cenotes in this area, as more than 10,000 were created. This small animal has a very curious ability. It is capable of breathing underwater thanks to a small air bubble it creates. It is known as the aquatic anole and lives in a large part of the American continent. When it feels in danger or wants to take a dip, it simply creates this air bubble so it can breathe underwater without any problems. The Dead Sea, located between Israel, Palestine, and Jordan, is the lowest point on Earth at sea level and one of the saltiest bodies of water in the world. This high salinity allows people to float effortlessly and is known for its therapeutic properties for the skin. In Bolivia, the Salar de Uyuni transforms into the Lake of Mirrors during the rainy season. When a thin layer of water covers the surface of the salt flat, this phenomenon creates a perfect natural mirror that reflects the sky and the clouds, creating an impressive optical illusion. This is how a manatee or dugong feeds. Basically, these mammals feed exclusively on the seabed, mainly on seagrasses and aquatic vegetation, which they tear from the bottom with their muzzles, as if they were a vacuum cleaner. This species lives in warm, coastal and shallow waters, in ecosystems that host large amounts of vegetation. Adult specimens usually measure about 3 meters and weigh about 200 kilos. Flamingos can sleep standing on one leg. They have an amazing ability. They can stand on a single leg for long periods of time. This posture not only helps them conserve body heat, but is also more comfortable for them to rest. This is the largest bonfire in the world. It was built in the Austrian city of Lustenau. 100 tons of wood were used for its construction, which reached a height of 60 meters and took 3 months to build. In this city, they have a tradition with bonfires. In the past, people lit them to leave winter behind and welcome spring. This has been the largest bonfire built to date. There is a bicycle with wheels made of sneakers. They were engineered by Adidas in collaboration with the tire brand Continental. Each tire is made up of 6 sneakers. This is a forest near Poland where the trees grow that way. It is said that these trees were planted in 1930, and there are many theories about why they have that peculiar shape. Some say it is because the Earth's gravitational field is different in the area, and that causes them to grow like that. Other theories suggest that it is due to human intervention, and that they were molded to grow with the aim of creating curved pieces of wood. Regardless of the reason, this is undoubtedly a unique forest in the world. This is how flamingos feed, by sucking up water with the front part of their beak. These animals have a filamentous structure called a lamella, which acts as a filter, trapping shrimp and other small aquatic creatures. The gecko is a reptile that apparently never gets wet. In a study conducted by biologists at the University of Queensland, it was discovered that the skin of some geckos can repel water. This is all due to tiny hairs on its body, which have the ability to concentrate the liquid and repel it. Today, scientists are developing experiments to see if the skin of this lizard can be used for medical purposes. This is what a spring looks like. Also known as a fountain, it is a natural source of water that gushes from the earth or between rocks. The water from springs can come from groundwater or from the filtration of rain. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like it and share it with your friends. Subscribe so you don't miss more interesting content. Leave your comments and click on any of these videos. See you next time.